It had been 3 months since Wyan and Jungkook got married. She knew almost everything about his routine and mood. Marrying a mafia lord would be all fun and butterflies, they said. But they were not Wyan. They didn't know Jungkook at all, or they would run away. She crossed her arms as she stood before her bed, manly suit placed on top of it. Jungkook had refused to wear it because there was a small crease on it, which she swore she couldn't see. He glared, complained, took out his own suit, and left. Wine almost punched him. She huffed, putting it back in the closet. He was respectful towards her, fulfills her wishes and her food cravings, take her out to shopping and outings, but he was also a man with great anger issues. Once a maid accidentally served him with rice instead of pasta, and Wine swore she saw the poor maid on her knees begging for mercy. As long as you want to live, you don't want to make a mistake. Her phone pinged a few times and she picked it up to see messages from an unknown number. A lot of pictures. Her face morphed into a disgust as there were nudes. Then she turned to shock. AI generated nudes with her face edited, a text message asking her to meet at the location sent below, and a strict warning not to inform anyone. No information about who was the sender. She knew it was not real, yet getting threatened like this scared her too much. It took her 3 hours of constant panic, anxiety, and overthinking. There was no way she was going to the place alone. Talking to police was out of the option. She didn't want her nudes in the phones of every respectable man her husband knew. And talking to her own husband was the last thing she wanted. He was a furious man who knew what he would do, especially when the sender said no to inform anyone. Jungkook had texted her asking if she had her lunch. He did that daily, but she couldn't reply. She jumped hearing the sound of door opening, her heart in her throat. She wouldn't be this scared if she was not going through hell 3 last hours. The familiar scent enveloped the room as her eyes fell on her husband. Sitting up on her bed, she watched him crossing the room until he stood in front of her. He held her chin, and eyes traveled down her body. Jungkook, why didn't you reply to my text? Why? Did you come back because of that? He raised a brow, and she knew it was a yes. Wine. I slept a little. I didn't realize. He took a seat before her. Surprisingly, his hold against her chin softened instead of hardening. Jungkook, and you don't want me to believe that, do you? Wine feared if she lied again, it might get her in more trouble. The blackmailer might be scary, but her husband was scarier. Wine, it's really nothing. Are you hungry? I'll bring something for you. She stood up, leaving the room abruptly. Jungkook poked his inner cheek and his eyes fell on her cell phone. He was not the kind of man to disturb his wife's privacy at any cost. Yet, she didn't seem alright, and he was not okay with it at all. He grabbed her phone without the fear of getting caught and went through call logs and text messages. It burned his blood as he went through every nude sent to her by her blackmailer. One returned to room and her breath got stuck in her throat. Jungkook wanted to demand answers as to why she didn't tell him, but seeing the fear on her face softened him up. Jungkook, come here. He extended his arm and Wine ran into them and cried out in his embrace. Wine, I'm too scared. I'm sorry for hiding it. I just got so scared and confused. Jungkook, you don't know who your husband is? He wrapped one arm around her, and with other hand he texted someone handling the matter along, not wasting a second. Jungkook, I'll handle it. Wine was surprised he handled her so calmly, wiped her tears, and made sure she ate her meal well. He stayed for an hour until she calmed and not hungry anymore, before he left to handle the matter. He had all the information on the sender by the time he left his home. Apparently, it was someone from Wine's office before she married Jungkook. He was clearly obsessed with her and had every bad intentions related to her. Several punches against his cut, a few teeth missing, and a head smashed against the wall didn't satisfy Jungkook's anger, so he left him at the door of a doctor to heal, so he could torture him again without letting him die so quickly. He was not a man with morals, but he hated when someone messed up with his woman. She was under his protection, and even he, himself, wasn't allowed to hurt her. That was his basic rule. Wine deleted all the pictures, blocked the number, and played her favorite show to distract herself somehow until Jungkook returned and told her he took care of her everything. Jungkook, don't ever hide anything from me again. I won't take that well next time. He sat behind her, tying her hair in a braid per her wish. Ryan, you're scary sometimes, she mumbled, and he wrapped her braid around his fist and pulled her head back so his mouth was against her ear. Jungkook, I'll be much scarier when you hide things, darling. She gulped and nodded. Her heart skipped a beat when he placed a kiss on her cheek, then another on her jaw, and then he back hugged her. Ryan, thank you for saving me. Jungkook, you are my wife and my priority. I'll protect you with or without your will. No one can ever lay his finger on you as long as I am alive. She snuggled back in his embrace while he wrapped his arm around her. They might be arranged married, but they were making a progress, slowly and gradually.